Hello guys, Sazono here. This is the Daily Grind. This is Saint Seiya Awakening. I'm going to show you today some features for the Galaxy Duel and a reminder. There's still an event going on where you have to participate 15 times and at 3, 5 and 8 participations they give you experience points for your tunes as a prize. Also, you have to win several times, up to 9, and that gives you summoning stars, experience points, cash money, gold coins for upgrades and stuff like that. So participate in this thing. It's midnight up to 2 in the morning, and then from 7 a.m. Central Time in the United States up to 11 a.m. Right now it's going on. But what I'm going to show you is one of my recent victories where you have this option here on the menu that says replay. It lets you see your latest fights for the tournament. Also, this season for Galaxy Duel is about to finish, so hurry up if you want a nice portrait for your characters. So let me show you, because I keep seeing people wanting to amass an army of S-grade cards, and people still don't believe me that Control and Mu specifically have a very decent chance of winning fights. Now this was almost even, and I say almost because my Skilla doesn't have his 7th sense awoken, so I had to make do. But this is a heavy control composition, and in fact after this fight, after cashing the summoning stars for this event, I managed to get the Skilla passive to level 3, so now he has access to stun. So this is now a truly heavy control composition. You see, the guy with the shield, Perseus Algol, if he gets hit by someone, he's going, if his 7th sense is awoken, he's going to instantly petrify the person who attacked him for 1 turn. So they are instantly going to regret attacking you. And this was that. On the other side, you see a Mu spamming crystal walls, and that would have been a problem, but fortunately my team is faster, so I just had to switch over to the people who don't have the crystal wall on. And here's a tip for dealing with Thoros. If you see him charging the Great Horn, and this is the reason you don't see Thoros at Aldebaran at high level play, you only hit him 4 times, and that's after a buff, because it used to be 3 times. You hit him 4 times and he gets knocked out of the stance without attacking. And the guy just gave up because he didn't have any damaging tunes left. And overall his power was higher than mine. The levels of his characters in average were higher than mine, because he had one over 50 and several over 40. But still I managed to get a win just using mostly B and A cards for control. So don't these control cards. Now I'm going to start working this week on maximizing Cosmos for Moses and Algol, and that's going to be to maximize their chances. Also, if you have a Mu, an Aries Mu, work not so much on defense. I'm going to show you, he's now my first level 60 character. But for Mu to work, you have to equip Cosmos that give him a lot of HP. You have to level up those Cosmos and work on magical defense, physical defense, but above everything else, for Mu specifically, he has to have HP Cosmos. This is not a recommended build for him through the game, but it just so happens that this one gives a lot of HP for Mu, and also increases his magical defense naturally. And you want a lot of HP because his crystal wall is just a portion of his HP as neutral damage. Like if Mu has 10,000 HP points and you maximize the crystal wall, then the shield is going to be built for 3200 HP, and that's per 10k. Considering that endgame Mu can have almost 60,000 HP, that means that just the shield is going to end up at around 22,000 points of damage worth of absorbing. And if you set up 2 or 3 at the same time with a Sextant Knight, with the help of a Sextant Knight, then you have a potential one shot for your Mu, because this thing, the Starlight Extinction, takes all the damage that the shields have absorbed for the past 2 rounds and convert that to true damage that is unaffected by defense and unaffected by magical defense. So the damage goes as such. You have to keep upgrading both of these skills, and I would recommend bringing the Starlight Extinction if you're going to go heavy with Mu, to bring this skill to at least level 3, just so you can guarantee that it's going to store that damage. For example, at level 3, if the wall is 1000 HP points, 760 of that damage is going to be converted to true damage, but with 100% damage multiplier. So it's the 760 complete per 1000 HP points of the shield. Now remember that it can store damage for 2 rounds, and every turn that the shield is active, Mu repairs it to full health. So if you set up at max level, you set up a shield, it's capable of storing up to 20,000 damage per shield, and if it's not destroyed, the next round it's resetted, so you can store another 20,000 points of damage. And you can see that this thing is made to punish Saga users and also Aiolos users. Any AoE or any high level damage character is going to supercharge the crystal walls, and That's the reason Mu is a very sought after character for high level play. Because in high level play, you're going to have targets of opportunity that the enemy has to attack. Like, for example, you set up the shield on a Luna, on your healers, on guys like, for example, Thoros, the guy I just showed you in the video, set up a Great Horn, and he should have backed that up with a crystal wall in front, because as a defender in Aldebaran that is charging a Great Horn, it's a priority target, so you have to attack it with AoEs, with direct attacks. You are going to have to try to stun him or bring his health down. So that would have charged his crystal wall for Starlight Extinction, but he didn't. Also, if you are using, for example, a Chameleon June, you can set up a shield in front of her, and people are going to attack those characters no matter what. That's how you use Mu. You set up the shields in front of characters that the enemy is going to be forced to attack, so they charge your skill. And if you can, you set up 2 different shields, and if you can, you reset at least once, just to maximize the amount of damage that you are going to store into those shields. Well, that was the video for today. I just wanted to showcase that team composition, because it's heavy control. I just want you people to realize that this game is not really like many others where there is a well-defined meta. Like, you just have to come and ask, what characters do I need to do well? And you get a very short list of teams that can work at high level play, or that you actually need if you want to do well on high-end PvP. But I can tell you this, I have been playing this game for almost 8 months in the Chinese version, and since you can spectate, you can go in as an spectator for Galaxy Duel, for Jamil Championship, and you can watch replays of highly ranked characters. What you see is that there is an ongoing theme, and the theme is you have either one very big damage dealer and you set up 5 tunes to support him, to bring defense, to set the perimeter, to guarantee that that character is going to kill an enemy every round he sees play. Or you set up 2 big damage dealers, 2 big damage dealers, a somewhat scarce utility setup, but you bring control. Either confusion, stunning, for example, the Pope, who has a field for 2 turns where he basically protects from all damage by removing the enemies before they take action. It's called the Another Dimension. He's very, very valuable, very sought after. I have seen people complaining that they don't see the utility of an S card that doesn't deal damage. Athena, for example, this girl, I just got her. She is not a damage dealer, but she sees a lot of play in endgame, because she brings a passive that cannot be removed, that increases resistance for the whole team by at least 18%. Also, she can clear debuffs on your team for free every turn. There are like two debuffs, Stone and Petrified, that cannot be cleansed. but that's the only two. Anything else, attack downs, bleedings, burns, poison, slowdown. This one that Seiya has, that it's kind of weakening, that breaks defense or something like that. She can clear a character from debuffs for free every round, and she can protect up to 2 people actively on your team from death for just 1 energy point. She cannot protect herself, but she can cast a skill on one of your allies that costs 1 energy, that if they receive fatal damage, they come back to life with a percentage of their life. And any effect that triggers on criticals and stuff like that still triggers for them. So there's that. Athena in this form is a staple of teams in the Chinese version, and I have seen many people complain or deride her because she doesn't have any damaging skills, but she's a support to them. S card, what I think confuses a lot of people is that in other gacha, in other strategy games, any card that is ranked as S or double S, legendary, mythical, or whatever, it's usually meta changing. But from the fact that they do a lot of damage, this is not the case in this game. In this game, control setups, defensive setups, a mix and match of high damage with high defense is viable in endgame. Like, you're going to see characters repeat in many matches, like even 6-7 months from now you're going to still see a lot of Saga, some Ayolos, you're going to see Shuras, because they have high damage, single round, single target skills. But you're also going to see a lot of characters, or well, the successful players are going to be using a combination of characters that allows you to last a lot. Like, there are many healers coming to the game. Like, people are judging and the game is just starting. We are not even in the second week yet and people are already complaining. But there are many healers. There is at least one off-turn healer that can also purge debuffs that is going to come. Of course, when Lord Hades releases, because Lord Hades is going to be released in the game. That's something that I also don't understand when you claim that you have played the Chinese version. It's not that I hope that this thing is going to happen. I'm just telling you by how it's happening on the Chinese version. Of course, the meta is not going to be exactly the same, because many people are going to just come up with their own combinations for Cosmos and teams and whatnot. But the underlying system in the games favor setting high damage characters along with support tunes that allow these characters to actually reach their turn and do their stuff. Like the last character that has been released, Evil Saga, only has a basic attack. Everything else, he has 3 passives, and he's very complicated to use because he functions. The more energy the enemies or your own team spends, that's how powerful he becomes. And that's pretty much the first I have ever seen in a strategy game where you really don't have a choice on how to attack with a character. When his turn comes, you only have his basic to attack. And he's the slowest character in the game. But it's a deterrent so powerful that it forces the enemy to use only basics. It's very weird, but so far it's working. I mean, nobody like him. He's like a week and a half old, that character, because that's the current banner. That banner ends today, in fact, for Evil Saga, and people were like, I don't understand. I don't get him. Like he kills your own team. But then someone worked out what the actual mechanics for his passives are. And it turns out that it's heavy defense and it's punishing, it's built for punishing those teams that have Saga, the normal Saga, because he uses 3 energy points, or the Awakened Shaka that uses 4 energy points to attack, or Doko that uses 4 energy points to attack, and they all have very high HP points and very high defense, so they are very, very difficult to kill. Doko especially, because he has a counter-strike mechanic that you're just going to see, because I'm pretty sure Libra Doko is the next banner. So yeah, don't judge the game. If you're just starting out, you have to feel your Cosmos setup and bring all those Cosmos to +10. And then you have to make sure that every Cosmos spawns with 6 substats. And then you're going to have to keep farming Cosmos to equip, leveling them up to see if they have the 6 substats, and then just keep the ones that you're actually going to use. For example, I'm looking for one of these that it's like this, that brings flat HP and percentage HP, but I need it like this one has to go to the trash because it has physical attack. And maybe I can save that for another character later, but so far for Mu, that's useless. Physical attack for Mu is useless. So I have to craft another set of Bloom to +10. And I'm still working on that. This is not the recommended Cosmos for him. In fact, the best Cosmos for Mu is going to come in around 2 more months. It's a hummingbird on the image, because that's magical attack plus speed, and you want those in Mu. You want him to go before several of the characters just so he can set up a shield, and that's going to come with time. So well, I don't know what to do with this video anymore. Because it was just a showcase of that particular duel I showed you. But if you have any question, any comment, leave that in the comment below. And yes, I have seen several of your questions about setups for characters. You have to first, if you don't want to wait, because I don't have many characters unlocked here, you can come to this screen where it says guide, and in Cosmos the game gives you different setups for the character. As an example, this is baseline. You can equip whatever you like or whatever you want. But I didn't choose the Cosmos Stone mostly because the upgrades that you get in the substats for that one don't usually favor Mu. The ones I chose, I did change. Well, I initially were using Eagle Eye, because Eagle Eye gives a double whammy of Cosmos attack and Cosmos damage. But I think that was, I made the change because I started getting more Cosmos attack out of this. But it doesn't really improve the damage. And like for example, Eagle Eye, yes, it was like that because I started getting more S Cosmos for this one. But this one, Eagle Eye, is actually better for Mu if you can get S or double S Cosmos because it gives HP up. And for Mu, that's better than magical attack because his real damage is going to come from his star-like extinction, but from store damage from the shields, and he needs a lot of HP to make those shields withstand damage. So yeah, I think that was why I changed, because I modified this because this gives flat HP in drops, and it also gives an HP bonus. And later on, this is going to change. Like I'm not very keen on giving you builds right now because right now it's not very complicated. You can follow the guide like this, and you will do well with your character, because right now there are only 4 Cosmos of each and they are pretty much half and half. Like, let's go to the inventory. Like, half is physical attack and half is magical attack. And so for the defense ones, one is physical defense and the other one is magical defense. And for the support, because that's the role of this Cosmos, it's depending on your character. If it's a striker, you want staunch. If it's a slow character that is very, very frail, then you want to equip New Moon because that gives extra speed. The heal book, that pretty much only works for Marine right now and Jamian. And Leather, the other flowers, those are for characters like precisely Moses, Camus, Hyoga, the Swan, Algol, people that their skill description says they have 5 or 10% plus status chance. This is the Cosmos that you equip for those, because it gives a very big increase on your status hit chance. It goes up to 14.5% per leather when it's a grade S Cosmos at plus 10. So that's how you get, that's how you make those support tunes viable. And Legendary Cosmos, it's mostly a guideline, and many more are going to come out. But so far the best Cosmos, if you are a tank, if you have a tank character, like for example Aldebaran Tauros, you equip with that of Daffodil. Unicorn Jabu does very well with King Giant. Then there are somewhat pointless ones. Support tunes usually benefit from having a speed, so you can equip Mandala, or if you just want your character to be just a little bit faster, you equip Mandala on them, because that decreases the damage they take and that increases the speed. Laurel Tree, that's just for healers. Nobody else benefits from that. And even if you get very good substats from Laurel 3, it's not really worth it to equip on somebody that is not a healer. Silver Dragon, that's good for strikers. Vulcan Chain, that's good for AoE attacks. Kingfisher is also very, very good. If your character equips flames and serpents, then you have to equip Kingfisher. Decelerator, Windflower are more for support tools. But you can equip any legendary Cosmos with whoever you want. It's not really going to make a big difference right now. It only starts to matter when you go into Rebirth 5 character fights at level 70 and above. When you really need those extra 10% HP, that's when it's going to matter. Or bringing your defense rating with 70-80% total bonus for the whole Cosmos set. You can build pretty crazy defensive toons, and you can build pretty crazy attacking toons. It just depends on the Cosmos you equip. Well, sorry for the rant. I'm going to shut the video right now. So remember to subscribe, leave a comment below. I know the game looks a bit confusing, feels a bit confusing at first, but imagine playing that in Chinese, and yeah, it's not that difficult now that it's in English, that we are actually able to know exactly what the characters are supposed to do. So, see you around, see you next time, and remember, keep grinding out.